The death of Queen Adelaide. In the twilight of her life, Queen Adelaide was besieged by illness that reflected the turbulent times that she lived through. Though she briefly recovered from a serious illness in April 1837, her health troubles continued to shadow her life. Her devoted presence beside her ailing husband, King William IV, until his death in June 1837, exemplified her enduring strength amidst personal suffering. As a Queen Dowager, Adelaide's battle with chronic illness persisted, leading her to frequently move in search of a healthier environment. Despite these efforts, she spent her final years very poorly, her life marked by both the compassion she showed to others and her own physical frailties. In the spring of 1837, Queen Adelaide faced a dire health crisis that nearly claimed her life. At the same time, she was enduring the emotional strain of being with her mother in her final moments in Meiningen. Miraculously, she managed to recover from her own illness. However, only a few months later, her husband, King William IV, began to succumb to his own grave health issues. With unwavering dedication, Adelaide spent over 10 days at his side, foregoing sleep and comfort to be with him as he faced his final hours. Her dedication did not wane, even as she grappled with her own frail health. King William IV ultimately passed away from heart failure in the early morning hours of the 20th of June 1837 at Windsor Castle, where he was later buried. This event marked a significant shift in the British monarchy as Victoria was proclaimed Queen. There was a small possibility that Adelaide was pregnant, which could have affected the succession, but this turned out to not be the case. Following the king's death, Adelaide became the first Queen Dowager in over a century, a title last held by Catherine of Braganza, Charles II's widow, who died in 1705, and Mary of Modena, the spouse of the deposed James II, who died in 1718. Adelaide outlived her husband by 12 years, navigating life with resilience despite ongoing health challenges. In pursuit of a more suitable climate for her health, Adelaide embarked on a journey to Malta in October 1838 aboard HMS Hastings. The trip included a stop at Gibraltar before settling in Malta for a 3-month stay. Finding no Protestant church on the island, Adelaide funded the construction of St. Paul's Pro-Cathedral in Valletta, demonstrating her commitment to her faith and community even while away from home. Her travels did not end in Malta, and in the summer of 1844 Adelaide returned to her homeland for what would be her last visit. She travelled to Altenstein Palace and again to Meiningen, perhaps reconnecting with her roots and family memories. Throughout her life, Adelaide maintained residences at prestigious locations, including Marlborough House, which she held from 1831 until her death in 1849, and Bushey House and its expansive Bushey Park at Hampton Court. These residences served not just as homes, but as places where she could receive guests and conduct her duties as Queen Dowager. Queen Adelaide's later years were marked by a continuous search for comfort and health as she dealt with her ailments. She often moved between various residences, seeking the solace and restoration that each new environment promised. Her life was a testament to her resilience and dedication, both to her personal health and her public responsibilities. Despite the challenges, she remained a figure of strength and compassion, involved in her community and committed to her faith until the end of her days. By 1846, Adelaide moved to Castlebury House, which she rented from Lord Essex. This period was notable for her hospitality, as she hosted Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, showing her continued involvement in royal duties, despite her health. After 2 years, her quest for a better living situation took her to Bentley Priory in Stanmore, rented from Lord Abercorn, where she would eventually spend her final days. As her health continued to decline, in 1847, Adelaide was advised to spend the winter in Madeira, a place famed for its mild climate. While there, she not only sought recovery but also engaged in philanthropy. She donated money to the local poor and financed the construction of a road, thus contributing to the infrastructure of the island. Despite her failing health, Queen Adelaide made her last public appearance with a significant act of charity and faith. She laid the foundation stone for the Church of St. John in Great Stanmore, also donating the font for the church. After her death, the east window of the church was dedicated to her memory, honouring her contributions. Adelaide passed away on the 2nd of December 1849 during the reign of her niece, Queen Victoria. Her death occurred naturally at Bentley Priory in Middlesex. Due to her humble nature, she had previously penned down her wishes for her funeral during an illness in 1841, requesting a simple and private ceremony, free from any pomp or grand state display. She expressed a desire for peace and modesty, wishing her funeral to reflect the tranquility with which she had hoped to enter the afterlife. Accordingly, she was interred quietly in the royal vault at St. George's Chapel, Windsor, following her own directives for simplicity and humility. This approach to her final farewell reflected her lifelong values of humility and the importance of spiritual over worldly wealth. On the 11th of December 1849, while at Osborne House, Queen Victoria wrote a heartfelt letter to the King of Belgium about the passing of Queen Adelaide. In her letter she said, "I know how you would mourn with us over the death of our beloved Queen Adelaide. We have lost the kindest and dearest of friends, and the universal feeling of sorrow, of regret, and of real appreciation of her character is very touching and gratifying." Through her words, Queen Victoria conveyed deep sorrow and a sense of loss, noting that many people now deeply appreciated Adelaide, perhaps more than they had while she was alive. This sentiment was echoed in an anecdote about an English artist who once painted Adeline. He noticed her eyes were red and asked if the light was hurting her. Adelaide responded that her tears were not because of the light, but because she had cried a lot. This exchange revealed the depth of her unspoken struggles and hinted that she deserved far better than the hardships she faced. Queen Adelaide's life, marred by recurring illness, drew to a close on the 2nd of December 1849. She passed away quietly as she had wished, avoiding the pomp and circumstance typical of royal funerals, in accordance with her instructions for a modest and private burial. Adelaide was laid to rest in the royal vault at St. James's Chapel, leaving behind a legacy of benevolence and humility that was only fully appreciated after her demise. Her gentle nature and the challenges she faced in her final years evoke a poignant reflection on the quiet yet profound impact that she had. Her story is a testament to the enduring strength and compassion in the face of unrelenting personal health challenges.